Welcome to myLearning using Blackboard. myLearning is our platform where we have additional learning materials that are provided for use with your Candidate Study Guide or CSG. It's also the platform where you'll attempt the online assessments. This is an online course and the CSG is your starting point. At appropriate times, the CSG will direct you to worked examples, activities, videos and other tools to help you to achieve the learning outcomes for each unit. I'll now take you through a tour of myLearning and I'm going to use last term's Audit and Assurance module to show you around. As you can see, the menu bar is on the left. The menu is broken up to 4 main sections. The first is this general information area, including announcements, orientation and contacts. The next section has the resources related to the module. The third section contains assessments, and the final section has your grades and any updates. So let's start in this first section. The Announcements tab is where your module leaders will communicate with you during the module. This happens regularly and you should log in every 2 to 3 days to stay up to date. The next area is the Module Orientation folder, and you should explore this folder in the first week of your module. As we scroll down this folder, there are a number of elements. First is a module-specific welcome video. There is also a video about creating a critical file that you can use in the open book exam. Next is the module planner, and it's a good idea to print off some copies for home and work to keep track of your progress. Then comes the required reading. Required reading is reading outside the CSG that can be examined. Then we have the assumed knowledge quiz, and we recommend that you attempt it prior to your module commencing. Wrapping up this section is an area with your candidate code of conduct and some guidance about applying for special consideration. Stepping out of the module orientation folder, you can see the contacts section. Here you can find contact details for our service centre, as well as information about your module leaders. And it's always good to put some faces to the names. So now I'll move on to the resources area, this second block. This is where you'll spend most of your time when you're logged on to myLearning. So let's start with the learning materials. You can see that we split the units of the CSG between the different online assessment points. In the Audit and Assurance module, Online Assessment 1 covered units 1 to 5. You'll notice that units 16 to 19 weren't covered in an online assessment, although they were still examinable in the final exam. I'm going to click into this subfolder covering the first 5 units now, and I'm going to show you a particular unit. So let's take a look at Unit 4. This unit was allocated 7 hours or 420 minutes on the module planner. The module leaders on this page are giving you an indication of how to divide this time between reading through the core content, that is the theory in your CSG, going through the worked examples, and attempting the activities. Notice that there's also a quick reference guide, which might be a flowchart or a summary, as well as a quiz to help you reinforce your learning. The worked examples and activities are critical in you clarifying and applying the knowledge you gain as you read through the CSG. Our exams are very practical in nature, so you need to be attempting these examples and activities as you work through the 12 weeks of your module. Let's move to the core content for Unit 4 by clicking on the PDF link. And this is the same content as the printed CSG. The learning materials are set up so that you are directed to a video, worked example, or activity at the right time once you've completed that part of the theory section or core content. So you are dipping in and out of the CSG as you work through a unit. And here's a box showing you that now is the right time to jump out and complete a piece of required reading. Back to the Unit 4 page, you can see there's a video for this particular unit. I'm going to click back now into the Learning Materials area and I'll scroll down. Down the bottom here you can see the all-in-one PDFs for the CSG, activities, worked examples and quick reference guides. Downloading the CSG can be helpful when you attempt the online assessments, as you can use the find command to quickly locate information. When you want to print the activities, worked examples and quick reference guides, this is the best place to come. Okay, moving on to the video resources folder. Each module we're producing more videos. They're particularly good for those of us who are visual learners. The videos focus on issues that candidates often find challenging in exams. Watching a video is a great way to clarify or reinforce your understanding of a topic. After video resources, we have the discussion forum. This is where you can post queries that will be considered by your colleagues and module leaders. The queries are posted unit by unit, and we encourage you to use specific subject headings to enable other candidates to find an answer quickly if they have a similar query. If I scroll up, you can see that there's also a peer-to-peer forum thread. This is an opportunity to communicate with your fellow students. You may want to use this forum to form a study group, either an in-person study group or an online group. And that's a great way to share learning and to be encouraged. Back to the menu again, and here's the virtual classrooms area. The final folder here is about virtual classrooms. Virtual classrooms are optional. However, many candidates find that they're a great resource to reinforce key learnings and be introduced to exam-style scenarios in a supported format. Their timing coincides with the lead up to an online assessment, so they're another useful learning resource. When we enter this folder, the first thing we see is the timetable showing the registration dates and when each of the virtual classrooms is running. In the top right of the page, you'll see the Quick Links tab, which is where you go to register for virtual classrooms. There are two parts to a virtual classroom: the preparation and the live Q&A session. If you want to attend the live Q&A session, you need to watch the preparation video and work through the exam style scenario. By undertaking this preparation, you'll get much more out of the Q&A session hosted by your module leaders. Then there's the live Q&A session. The session goes for up to an hour and involves the module leaders exploring the scenario covered in your preparation through poll questions and the opportunity to directly ask questions, and you can do that anonymously if you like. The presenters may also pose some what-if questions, so they're a good way to deepen your knowledge. Alternatively, if you don't want to attend the live Q&A session, you can view the recording of the live session. You can stop and start the recording, so many people find that this format is useful for them. Keep an eye out for an announcement about virtual classrooms when it's time to register. Back to the menu, and I'm going to move into the assessments area. Technical modules are assessed through online assessments, which account for 20% of your module mark, and the exam, which accounts for 80% of the module mark. When we looked at the module study plan earlier, there were 3 online assessments noted. Clicking into this area, you can see firstly the timetable, and notice how each assessment period is open for 5 days. You can attempt the online assessment at a time that suits you. The timetable shows you the units that are covered and when the results are released. Scrolling down, there are some tips for attempting online assessments, and there's a good tool to test your computer settings. Testing your settings in the first week of the module is a good idea in case you need to seek some assistance, and we're here to help if you have any problems. There's also practice online assessments for each of the 3 tests. You can experience the style of questions and the online format that the actual online assessment will take. A good way to revise and prepare for the real thing. And keep in mind that you can't accidentally start the real online assessment. They will only go live once the assessment period opens, and you'll receive a number of notifications to confirm that you're ready to commence the 90-minute time frame for the 10 multiple choice questions. The next folder is exams. First up in this folder, you'll see that the format of the exam with the 4 exam questions was released in advance. This can help you to plan your time before you step into the exam room. The FAQs provide information on what you can take into the exam, and there are also some other commonly asked questions. The exam preparation series will be released towards the end of the module. The module planner reminds you of their release. These questions and solutions, along with some exam technique suggestions, are a must for your exam preparation. I'd also like to highlight to you the past exam papers section. I recommend that you take a brief look at one of these papers in your module exam folder in the first week or 2 of the module. It's helpful to have an idea of what exam questions look like when you are working through the learning materials each week. It can help for you to gain an understanding of how important the practical application is to get you to that exam ready stage by the end of week 12. I encourage you to check out this assessments area on myLearning in the first week of your module. And the last area is grades and updates. My Grades is where your marks for the online assessments will be posted, and ultimately your exam result will be there. Updates includes any notifications of changes to the candidate study guide, worked examples, etc. Thanks for spending some time with me in myLearning. I hope you found it informative. You can revisit this video once your module commences if you need a refresher. You'll find it in the module orientation folder. Please remember that you can't break myLearning, so spend some time exploring it to make the most of what's available to you.